Now, does he return? Is he going to return? I had heard a story where he is going to return
He
and build to something.
he told Pat McAfee earlier Friday on Pat's show that he had been locked in for this year's WrestleMania, and then something came up with his scheduling. He was not going to have the time to get himself into ring shape, so he had to pull out. But he said with the strike, everything else that's going on, his schedule's wide open, through most of the first of the year. So
Uh, Austin Theory said the reason The Rock got over so well is because people hate him so bad. Does people hate him? Do they boo him? Do they give him major boos when they come?
Who we talking about?
I've not seen
Are
him.
we talking about Austin Theory?
Yeah, Austin Theory.
No, there's crickets when he's out there.
yeah,
There is absolute crickets. Now, the new chant that The Rock gave him will follow him wherever he goes. Thus, The Rock actually got him over during this show. This will be, if Theory plays it right, this will make him a star. If not, because up to this point, Theory has been lost. He's been lost since WrestleMania for whatever reason. I'm not sure what it is. I think that it's possible. To me, he seems to be shrinking. Those arms seem to be getting smaller and smaller, probably because of, bland body he's teaming with there as well, Grayson Waller. So it could be instead of Grayson trying to catch up with him, it's probably about his arms. He needs to work on those arms. Arms getting too small there, Austin. Get in the gym. Don't skip arms because they look bad. They was looking bad, look very weak. Work them out harder, very hard, look very small, very, very small. I'm embarrassed for you. Don't do it. We'll tell you that story later on. But anyway, yeah, it's something's happened with him. The fire's gone. There seems to be he's not as focused as he was before.
yeah, I agree.
And it really started after WrestleMania. There was like, okay, I'm not sure if he did something at WrestleMania or there was an issue with him, but for whatever reason, either it's either the company lost confidence in him or he's done something. So I'm not sure what happened there, but you can see that there is a distinct difference in his performance.
And I think that's happening. People like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin and those folks, they're still over. So it shows that the rest of the people are not over. You brought Bret Hart come out and he'd be over. It's kind of sad. But the fan base is an older fan base, and they do not have the younger fan base. If you go and look at it's very low for that fan base that they're really wanting at 18 to 34. I don't know that they watch regular television anymore. I think they watch YouTube. They watch TikTok and Twitter and all these things. I think that's what because I'm.
Well, what did we say? 2.8 for the rating for SmackDown. 104 million hits on social media for WWE for The Rock's return. Huge difference. Huge difference. And I think you're right. That's where our younger generation is. That's where they watch from. They watch snippets. They don't watch the whole show.
Well, from what I saw, and before I come on, I was so pleased to be able to watch Raw. And from what I saw, total running time, and of course, the way I watch it, it excludes all of the commercials. There was an hour and 32 minutes of wrestling. An hour and 30. I'm sorry, with TV show. So does that mean that there's 32 minutes of commercial in those shows now? Because I don't ever see it. I never see it live. I don't watch it with the commercials. So is there 30? I mean, if there's 30 minutes worth of commercial in an hour TV program, no wonder they're bad. I mean,
that soap opera, like General Hospital, their actual total running time is 37 minutes. The rest of it is commercial time.
Yeah.
And a 16. That's a lot of commercials within a show. And they might want to look at that. Maybe that's the reason people are watching Netflix.
And Netflix, Amazon, all these streaming services have gotten us used to the fact that we can watch programming now and there's no commercial interruptions. So, today's generation, like me, when I'm offered that option of can I get a streaming service for X amount of dollars, or for $5 to $7 more, I can get it commercial free. Well, I don't mind commercials because I grew up on them. So that, that's not a deal breaker for me at all, and that saves me a little money. But I think that a lot of this generation, and I don't blame them. If that's not something you've got to do, why spend your time doing it?
I think 10 minutes worth of commercial time within a show, like Hulu does. Yeah. When you watch Hulu with commercials, we've got Hulu with commercials, and you only have to watch 10 minutes of commercials throughout the whole show with an hour show. It's ridiculous the amount of commercial time that's on there. They should be making a fortune in the television revenue.
Well, that's probably the point. They're not doing it. They've taken that 30 minutes of commercial time in an hour TV program, or especially WWE. It looks like Raw, and of course, like I said, WWE may have their own spots that they've cut out. There might be some souvenirs, collectibles. I saw a thing with the NFL belts in it, but I did not see anything where they're on tour or any of that stuff. So that could be in there as well. That's taken out some of the time that would be WWE time, showtime. But you're right. If there's 32 minutes in a show, I mean, that means you're going to commercial quite a bit. And to me, I'm okay with it. Remember when it used to be 2-minute commercials? Well, when I was watching it, the last time I watched a live show, it was 6-minute commercial break. I mean, that's way too long. I mean, you can lose interest in 6 minutes. Now, I have liked the idea.
I can fall asleep in that 6 minutes. So.
I have seen in some cases that they run the commercials with the wrestling going in behind. I think that is the way to go if you need to do that. But they have got so much commercial time. That means they're selling each one of those spots not at premium price, but at a reduced price because they have so many. They still have to have that much of money per 30-second spot, right? They have to have so much per 30-second spot. Well, if you have many of them, you can lower that price if you have to get so much per show, per episode. And so to me, it would be better off to charge more for the advertising and have less commercials, because 6 minutes worth of commercials and let's just be honest, it's not just stuff people trying to sell you stuff. It's the TV station, the TV network trying to tell you what shows are coming up through the week as well.
And I think maybe that's also, you've got to not be the same old show each and every week. Raw's numbers, do you know what Raw's numbers was? I only saw SmackDown's numbers.
I didn't, other than that they were lower this week because of Monday Night Football. Sure. But that's expected. That happens this time of year.
I don't think AEW has set the world on fire. I don't know how they set UK on fire with 80,000 people when they can't even pack a building here with 2,600 people.
There has been a correction in that.
They have been?
There has been a correction. They overestimated it by big time. Yes. To the fact where Will Ospreay has to go and he has to fix his tattoo. Why would you tattoo that anyway?
Well, he thought he's never. I read that article where he said he's never had a tattoo in his life, but he thought that being a part of a show that broke a world record was something worth having a memory of. So he went and got that 82 whatever thousand number tattooed on him somewhere. And then a couple of weeks later, the local government there come out and said, well, there was only 72,000 that went to turnstiles.
It won't be long until it goes further and further down.
But but they could have had 50,000 of them could have been free. We don't know.
That's the thing.
I'm leaning myself, but that's we'll never know that. In fact, after this debacle, we probably won't hear about the Wembley show ever again. They'll probably try to.
Isn't this next show coming up? Aren't they having a hard time selling tickets to it?
Yes.
The one they're having at some kind of stadium somewhere.
It's the
Arthur Ashe Stadium starts tomorrow night. Yeah.
And I don't think they've been able to sell a lot of tickets to that, but I think they've lost the steam because I think the only reason they had steam because they were the small boys and they were competing against the big bad WWE, and now Tony Khan is just as big as money wise. I'm not talking about wrestling wise, but money wise as the WWE is. So they're no longer the underdog doing putting it to Vince McMahon to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And I think that's hurting them. And I think that Cody had the right ideal. And for some reason, they got away from Cody's ideal. And it didn't become Cody's wrestling anymore. It became the Young Bucks wrestling.
Yeah.
It was their ideal. Because if you hear them and you see the stuff that they send out, it's always about, well, I'm glad we got to start this, and we were able to bring CM Punk back, and I think that's the problem with that company. You have guys that's never been to the top running the company, and they have no clue. Even they think they're over, and you want to say to them, as Tatanka was brought out and said, listen, stand here. When Hulk Hogan came out, the place exploded. Pat Patterson looked over. Now that is a man that's over. That's a man that's over. I think there was an attitude there. And I think MJF and all them think they're over, and they really are not over.
Now MJF is finally home, Brent. I just want you to know that. After he's put out his pickles, and everybody knows how much he loves pickles. He loves the big pickles. He loves the little pickles. He loves all pickles. Any pickle, he just loves them. And he's home. That's what he said. He's finally home.
Is he a babyface now?
Probably. He's pretty much.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. He said they had no choice in the matter. They had no choice. Now, I want to go back to your comment talking about the small guys, and I knew exactly who you were talking about when you said that. You were talking about Hook and Jack Perry again. Possibly Nick Wayne. Is that who you're talking about, the little guy? Well, WWE has a little guy too, Rey Mysterio. So, I mean, I don't know which little guys you're possibly talking about.
Rey Mysterio got over because he was the only little guy.
That's correct. And we're going to get an opportunity to see him against Santos Escobar. He has now challenged Rey for the U.S. title. That should be one leg slapping good time.
I think instead of a winner or loser, it's going to come out to they're going to be judges around the ring, and they're going to be counting the leg slaps, and whoever at the end of 1 hour has the most leg slaps is going to win the match.
That is right,
so
and
it's going to be
they're just going to stand in the corners, and then they're going to slap each other, slap each other's leg, and then they'll react in the corner. In the opposite corner, it'd be fantastic.
James Brown asked this question, and I'm going to jump down. I'm going to jump down because it kind of goes with what we're talking about today. He says now we're trading Jade Cargill. Is that how you say her name?
Cargill, yes.
And Punk for Dolph Ziggler and Edge. Who got the best deal? I think Jade was never used correctly anyway.
No.
You see the money that Jade and a lot of those wrestlers there is going to make money with. There's money with her. They just didn't know what to do with her. And
apparently WWE is. I saw a picture today where she was already at the training center in Orlando. So they're trying to fast track her just to she's there for I don't know a couple of weeks I'm guessing, just to learn the WWE style, and they're just fine tuning her a little bit. But they plan a major push for her very quickly, and now, I think she'll draw for them.
Yeah. Now, Eric Bischoff is saying that she's going to have to, like you're saying, learn their style for sure. But also she may have to face name change. Do you think they'll change the name?
I think
because that's typically what they do.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. She's made a name for herself, and folks like AJ Styles that went out and made a name for themselves. You know, when they came into the company, they did not change their names because they had name recognition, and I believe she has that now. Now, could they drop Cargill and just go with Jade? You know, I'd
That's
be cool
probably
with
the
that.
variation that they'll do
Yeah.
because they brought in the Big Slow. Remember the Big Slow when he came in, and they had him as he came in his real name, I think, and then later on they changed him
Oh,
to Big.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, then they bring him in. Then changed his name to the Big Slow show. So.